All good things must come to an end, and now Gamescom has come to an end for us three. We've seen everything we need to see. So Battlefield 1 we were playing earlier today, actually the first thing we saw, just to, everyone's talking about Battlefield 1, we might as well play some just to give our thoughts. Ben, what do you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. It reminded me of some of the older games I used to play, older war games.
Yeah, what Ben said, there's Battlefield 1942. It's very similar, obviously it's set way back when. It's good. I mean, I do like Battlefield. It's very tactical compared to what I play, which is Call of Duty. But it's just the vehicles seem very overpowered. But aside from that, it was an incredibly beautiful game. Plays for a pre-alpha build. It's beautiful. There weren't any glitches or bugs or anything like that. It's fantastic. I really enjoyed it actually.
So Tom went to see Liftoff. What is Liftoff, Tom? Is
Is
it like 3, 2, 1 Liftoff?
No.
Is it like a shuttle where it goes, Houston, we are now lifting off? I don't know if they even say that.
It's not.
Is it like when you're in a helicopter and you're lifting off the ground and they say, oh look, we've lifted off?
No.
Or is it like Iron Man when he's like, ready for liftoff?
Is it?
Okay.
I get penguin. No. It was first and foremost a training simulator for professional drone pilots, but they recently turned it into a game to have races, make it a bit more competitive. But it's a fantastically in-depth game. I don't know much about drones at all, and the game itself is super realistic. So for someone like myself, it's also very difficult. It's fantastic though, like the quality of control and everything. I had a great chat with one of the guys from the studio, and it's super in depth. And if you like your drones at all, then definitely take a look into this, because you can change each motors, the propellers, and they're actual replicas of proper drone parts that people will buy and play with, and it affects how it flies and how it does, so people can customize their drones to get the best layout what they're used to and fly that and stuff. And it's really fantastic. I recommend checking it out if you like your drones.
I went to the Activision booth today and I saw Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare and the Modern Warfare 4 remaster alongside the new 80s zombie mode, and there was no hands-on, it was all a presentation. To be fair, Infinite Warfare looks the same as any other Call of Duty and it doesn't excite me whatsoever. There was a level on a spaceship and you had to avoid the rays of the sun and blah 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 blah. But the thing that did excite me the most was the Modern Warfare 4 remaster, because it's very nostalgic. It was the first game that really broke the mold, and it was just really exciting.
COD is COD, blah de blah de blah. Fuck off.
The 80s zombie mode looks really cool. I mean, we're a big fan of zombies, although I haven't really got into it a lot recently. This one, I love the 80s, I love music from that time. Yeah. The style looks wacky. They're really going all out for this one. They've got David Hasselhoff as, I think, a playable character or maybe a boss. I'm not too sure how heavily involved he is, but of course he's a very big 80s icon, so it'll be interesting to see him in that game. Ben went to see Star Trek Bridge Crew. Is that the name of the game? It's a virtual reality Star Trek game from Ubisoft, and Ben went to see it. He's a big Star Trek fan, as you can tell from the cap. Ben, how did you find it? All right.
I loved it. Just the experience of being sat on the bridge of a starship. Obviously, none of the known ones. It was a brand new NX class starship on its own. So you're not on with Kirk, you're not on with Picard. What you've got in the game is a touch screen panel in front of you. You've got an assigned task, so either engineer controlling power, etc., a helmsman steering the ship, it's going to warp, or a tactician, which is raising shields, scanning ships, or shooting enemies, firing phasers, firing torpedoes. I was in the role of on the technician as the tactical officer.
God help us all.
Unfortunately, I was with two people who hadn't ever done it before, and first it took us a good 5 minutes for us to warp anywhere, when it was just a simple matter of turn the ship and press warp. Also, the engineer had to power up the warp drive. They were going, I could hear out the call just outside of the headphones was, press that, pull that, you do this. I was just sat there waiting, because at that point I had nothing to do. I was just...
Well, what I would be, I was like, we can't do it, Captain!
I wasn't...
We can't even do it! Another big thing I saw today was Destiny, The Rise of Iron, a big expansion coming to Destiny. Still the first game, it's not a sequel yet, that'll be coming next year. I didn't get any hands-on really, I was just watching a lot of people play it. I was just taking into the last session, see what was going on. It seems pretty exciting, lots of more Destiny stuff to happen. There's a 385 light level, so it's going from 335 to 385, and then on hard mode, when they introduce it, it'll go to 400.
So we also popped in to go see a game called Mekazoo, which is made by the Good Mood creators. They've got a little booth down in Hall 10, which is, how would you describe it? Sonic-esque game. It's very hectic and fun, and the soundtrack is brilliant. And you kind of switch between different animals to complete different tasks to get through the level. And at the end of each level, there's a boss.
5 worlds, right?
5, yeah. So you start off as an armadillo, very small, and then when you beat the boss, which is a giant frog, you can then play as said frog, just a smaller version. And it seems to progress that way. So there's armadillo, frog, wallaby. What's the other one? Eagle. And Panda, I think he said. But it's a nice little game. It's coming out next month, which should be good to check out. I definitely will.
Of course, the big thing about the game is the co-op mode. So when you're playing alongside a friend, you can switch between different characters, different animals that you've captured, to therefore use their ability to further progress through any given level. So if you need to swing with the tongue of a frog, but you need the momentum of the armadillo in a ball to get up there, to get to the swinging perch, then you need to do that movement, and it takes a lot of work to do to kill bosses and defeat them, and to then acquire the next animal. So it is quite a fun game. I mean, it's a small indie game from a small company, and it looks like it has a lot of spirit. It looks quite cool, lots of colours. And yeah, it looks quite fun. So keep an eye out for that when it releases next month on pretty much every console under the sun, except from Wii U, which will be coming, I think, later this year.
And to wrap up, we've had a fantastic few days here at Gamescom. Personally, I do fall out of the mix, if you've seen. Not a lot of content from me every now and then, but I'm glad I get to come around with you guys still.
We're glad you're here, Ben.
Hello.
Just one thing that's really stood out to you, the whole experience we've had this year.
Oh, I think you already know what stood out to me throughout the experience this year, and that's Arkham VR, because I'm a huge, big Batman motherfucking fan. So fanboy here for Batman. Yes, I love Batman Arkham VR, and I'm so much looking forward to it when it releases alongside the launch of PlayStation VR, middle of October. So I'm really looking forward to that. I was just surprised by the quality versus my HTC. It's actually very, very close. Tracking isn't quite the same, but still, for what it is and the price and the fact you can plug it into any PlayStation 4 straight away and get that quality is amazing. So that's it. That's what I'm really excited for.
Oh yeah, it's very good. How about yourself, Tom?
Titanfall 2, I mean, I've got to say, is fantastic. Looks great, plays great. It just takes the first one and makes it better. I'm very excited for it. On the other scale of the spectrum, what we just mentioned about Mekazoo is a great little game from a much, much, much smaller studio. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen to all these big games. Who's going to crash and burn, and who's going to fly high?
Well, we all know mine, and that is Star Trek. I've been Ben, howdy.
I've been Josh. Bye.
And goodbye from me, Thomas.
Ciao.